In today's episode, we give a complete site tour of Camp Margaritaville at Lanier Islands in under 8 minutes. Also, be sure to stay to the end as we talk about something that almost happened to us that every RVer needs to be concerned about. That's all in today's conclusion of our Camp Margaritaville at Lanier Islands April 2024 review. First, we're going to begin our 8-minute tour at the entrance to the RV resort. As we tour around, you can follow the map in the bottom left. The red man there is approximately where the camera is located. I noticed that the campground map is a little out of scale, so be aware of that. The first campground loop that you will come to is actually phase 3 of their loops. These are gravel sites and are heavily wooded. These are for those that like the traditional style of camping or the look of the traditional style of camping. As we toured around this camping loop, we saw 2 sites that really stood out to us. The first one is Site 150. This has a spectacular view of Lake Lanier. One thing to note, about 5 o'clock p.m. every day, this drink cart here drives the loops playing loud music. Think of this as an ice cream truck for adults. I found this to run about 5 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. every day, about every hour or so. The other site in this loop that stood out to us was Site 130. The next loop you will come to is phase 1 of their sites. This was the first loop that opened with Camp Margaritaville at Lanier Islands. The first road to the right is the boat access, We won't go over that today in this tour, but you can see all about that in episode 14, day 1 of Camp Margaritaville. I'll have a quick link in the description below.
Keep going. Keep going.
Honestly, in this loop, none really stood out to us. So in this area, I can't say that any of these sites really stood out to us. They're not awful. A lot of them do have some pretty good views and some pretty good sights, but nothing that just was wowed us like the other ones that we've talked about so far, and some that are about to be talked about in the next loop. Now for the last loop, which is the loop we are in. This is phase 2 to all of their sites, and in our opinion offers the better of all the sites at the Camp Margaritaville Lanier Islands area. In our opinion, our site 59 is the best site out of all 3 loops. This site is super large and can accommodate multiple vehicles, trailers, etc. The view is awesome and the lake access is perfect. Okay, so I'm going to run one thing by you. Please be aware of Site 70. We stayed in this site twice, and the garbage truck will run a couple times on your week-long trip. And when it does, it's extremely loud. If you have pets that are prone to having PTSD, this is not your site. Neither would 68 or 69.
Yeah.
This loop had 4 sites that really stood out to us. Our site 59 that you saw, and the next site is site 118. This is a smaller site, but you have a deck that faces the water, and it just really stands out to us. Another site that stood out to us was site 99. Really love the decking here. It's a small site for small campers with a great deck and view. Though your view may be blocked in the full summer with full leaves, but as it's set right now in April, this had a pretty good view, and it really stood out to us just because of the way the deck's set and having your campsite completely unobscured from another camper. And the last site that really stood out to us and that can accept large rigs and comes with a large deck is site 106. Really like this view. I like the way that campsite is unobscured by other campers. I always like to see that.
Taking the golf cart back, so Tanya's got to work, so I'm gonna have to walk back. It's gonna be a good little walk. All right, just dropped the golf cart off back there at the main office. We're gonna see what this walk is like. It's nice and pretty. I need a walk anyway. I'm fat and out of shape, so I need to walk anyway. Over here is where the new amenities area is gonna be. I tried to walk up in there and got busted. They said, "Hey, sir, you can't go up in there." Well, I knew that, but I didn't see any signage that said restricted access, authorized personnel, or anything like that. I was trying to get up there and get y'all some shots, but anyway, that's where this is going. In order to be an RV resort, you need to have a pool area. You need playgrounds. They do not have playgrounds here. Notice there's no playgrounds at all. So I don't know if they're trying to make this park more adult because they have the drink cart that drives around. So I'm thinking that maybe they're focusing it more for the adult crowd and less on the family crowd with the children. But families are coming here probably more than the adult crowd. So I really think that this area here is going to make it more inclusive for families. So this is definitely needed because and it's centrally located to all three of their loops. Earlier in the video, we talked about our main purpose for coming here in April, and that was we're working on this side of Atlanta. So today is the first day that we start our job. It's this afternoon, and it's going to run through Sunday night. So Saturday and Sunday, we won't even be here. We'll leave at 7 o'clock in the morning or so, and won't be back till 10 p.m. So that'll be, you know, fun. And of course, Simon and Annie have to be here all by themselves. And you know, last year Simon got stressed out from being left alone that long, but you know, they got to get used to it. We're monitoring everything. We got everything internet connected so we can tell what the temperatures are doing and all that. We turned the water off, the gas off, so no flooding or no explosions.
Good morning, everyone. We are off to film a dance recital this morning early. We have 3 shows today. We had 1 show last night and 3 shows tomorrow. You have anything to say?
Yeah, so that's one of our main purposes for coming to Camp Margaritaville in April. Last year when we did the review, it was in July. We weren't working then, but we did come last year's April, and did the same thing we're doing this year. So we thought we'd document kind of what we do. This is one of the many things we have in our hat that we do. So we're on our way now to Gas South Theater to film a full day of recitals. They got 7 total shows. It's one of our biggest video jobs of the year, so we're always excited to do this one. This is our biggest one we do. So anyway, heading that way. All right, well, today is the worst day of the whole trip. It's the day that we have to pack up and go home. We're packing up now. I got my hitch stabilizer, which I don't know if it really works. Kind of somewhat does. Got our X-Chalks. They kind of work a little bit better than this as far as the rocking goes. Now with the one thing I have learned with the 6-point leveling system on these auto leveling systems on these fifth wheels, or particularly our line of fifth wheel, it works better without the blocks under it. It works better if it's just the feet with the snap pads. It's more stable to me than using these yellow blocks. But sometimes you have to if you're somewhere where you got to get it jacked up high enough. But I don't know if it's the plastic that gives or what, but we found that it's actually stable, more stable without those, and just letting the jacks sit straight on the ground. All right, you got a little girl there. Oh, she's all chill. Hey, Gears, you all chill? You ready to go home to your house? Go home to your castle instead of your mobile condo? There's Simon. You ready to go home? All right. All right, let me get. Okie dokie. All right, come down looking like a clown. All right, put her stairs up before we pulled her jacks up. Don't want to leave your stairs out when you pull jacks up because it'll mess your door frame up. The weight of the camper will bend all this. You have to have that up. And then we'll lock the door. Pull all the jacks up. Make sure everything's locked.
That hook thing on that water faucet isn't yours, right?
Oh, it is mine, yes. Yeah. Whew. Don't leave that. That's my water regulator. Thank you. Thank you, Tanya. I knew you'd gift for something today. Thank you, Tanya. What a man would do without a woman. We'd be lost, wouldn't we?
Yeah,
Tell you that.
You still got a jacket. You can't lock that yet.
Thank you. Another reason I got you around. All right, I'm gonna raise the front up. Since we have the Andersen hitch, we actually raise above the ball and drop it down the ball. We don't ram into it. This is per recommendation from my brother-in-law. And I actually love the Andersen hitch. It does seem easy. I don't know. He says the fifth wheel hitch can be difficult and sometimes might not lock into place. This, there's no doubt it's locked in. Another thing that's good is I can actually go in at an angle on a goose ball. I got to go up on it. Yep. Wow, got to raise it up.
Go a little bit more. All right, whoa.
All right, let's drop her down. Do auto retract all that way. I don't have to stand there. Yeah, then once it gets on the ball, and I'll wait till it gets done, till it's fully seated, till all the weight's on it. Okay, all the weight's on it. Then you just take a little lever, push it in, lock it over. So that unlocks it, that locks it. That's all you gotta do. And there's no doubt, if that lock goes in, it's in. And then we'll hook up the brake cable. All right, do these safety chains. Some people don't run safety chains, but in Georgia, it actually is a law that you do have to run chains when you have a ball. And so, even though that's a considered fifth wheel, that's still a ball. So gooseneck, so Andersen makes those chains and that little chain kit for it. But these things can handle 24,000 pounds, so there's no reason for thinking it's not as reliable as a regular fifth wheel, because it is. There's a lot of people using them. There's a lot of negatives, but people don't use them right. Overload them. I mean, they are spec'd 24,000. All right, so now, Tanya,
Yeah, lift your front jacks up.
Pull the jacks up. Thank you, Tanya. See, I'm telling you, I just don't know what I would do without you. Just too busy talking to pay attention to what I'm doing. Good thing Tanya's paying attention. All right, where's my keys at? Where I put my keys at, Tanya? You seen my keys?
Did you put them back in the truck?
Found the keys in a cup holder. It's hard to talk, do videos, and make sure everything's secure.
A slight right turn.
Okay.
Straight.
Straight, okay.
Straight.
All right, I'm listening to you.
Straight.
I gotta start thinking about my truck, so I gotta start turning.
Yeah, turn your wheel. Yep, there you go. Turn it.
So we came back from Margaritaville, and I noticed something. And we noticed something when we were there at Margaritaville. I couldn't get my X-chocks to fit between my two wheels here, where normally I could. And let me show you. So this is the X-chock. It will not go between these two wheels, and used to it could. Now let me show you a difference. So come over here on this side of the camper. This side over here is normal, okay? This X-chock will fit much different. And before you think, well, it's probably the way you have your camper jacked up or the suspension or something like that, it isn't. It has nothing to do with that. Now come over here with the X-chock, watch this. Fits right in there, right? So here's another thing to notice. I could put 4 fingers between this tire and this tire, right? Remember that, 4 fingers. And I come over here, back to this other side. Remember the 4 fingers over there? Look at that. Here, it's like a finger and a half distance. The middle of these tires are swollen all the way around. Both of these are. So what we're gonna do is we're taking these off because I don't want to drive another mile on them. And we're gonna take them to a tire shop. And I've already got the tires ordered and I'm taking them tomorrow. We're gonna get some good high quality tires instead of these cheap, what they call possibly China bomb, which we don't know, because these are close to a blowout, if you ask me. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna jack it up, take these off. We're gonna let the leveling jacks hold the camper until tomorrow afternoon. We'll come back and put the new tires on it. But it's just weird. I mean, we could have had a blowout here had we had drove as far as Camp Gulf, we could have had a blowout, because these tires, when I was at Margaritaville, I was able to get this in halfway. Now I can't get it in at all. Like, it ain't fitting at all. So it's definitely got worse. And I noticed when we were at Greenbrier last year in December, I had to really squish to get this in, but it did fit, but it had to really push. All right, well, it's hard to tell it right now, but that is severely rounded. So here's the differences. These are the same tire, but look how much bigger this tire looks. See how much taller? It's another 2 inches taller because this thing is so expanded out. See, this is the way it should look. Even though this one has got bad spots, because as I was rolling it, it had dips in it, it had humps. It was not completely round. Just cheap tires, and they're even worn, and they only got 3,000 miles on them. But that right there, that says it all. And the other tire that goes with this on this side is the exact same way. And then this side looks like this. But even this has a little bit of a dip here, and it's higher here. But then you can come down here and it's perfectly level all the way across. Check that out. Yeah, that camera says it all. That's exactly, and I mean, you almost think that was 2 different tires. That's crazy. That's actually very scary that it's like that too. Thinking that if we had gone a long distance, there's no way that this tire would not have just blown out right here. And it would actually, if it had 2 flat tires, we'd actually have to call somebody because we only got 1 spare. So anyway, something to keep a lookout when you buy a new RV. Go ahead and plan for 4 new tires, because they put the cheapest piece of messes on there. Even if it's a name brand, it's always the cheaper line of the name brand. The rubber compound's cheaper, so it's not as good of a tire. Anyway, not that I know what I'm talking about, because I really don't. I just know I read a lot of forums, I talk to a lot of people, and this is what I hear. So anyways, all right guys, signing out. We'll see you on the next one. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share.
Turn left ahead, and then in 200 feet, make a slight right turn.